Hello, my name is Tracy Lenz, and I'm a petroleum engineer, and I wanted to give you the 5 things that I would recommend most mineral owners to never do. Take these into consideration if you're a new mineral owner especially. So first, don't sell them right away. If you've recently inherited your minerals, you might have a feeling of overwhelm. You might not know what they are. You might be getting offers that seem large, and you're like, well, this cash might be nice to have. Just wait. Wait until you get a better feel for what you have, what you own. Do a little more research. Make sure you understand which wells you're getting paid for. Make sure everything has transferred into your name from the prior owner. Just wait. They're not going anywhere. Even though oil and gas prices change quite a bit, there's like very few time periods where a week or a month would have made a big difference in how much money you could get. And usually those initial offers that come through when you first inherit, because people are watching for that type of stuff, those offers are very low for the most part because they're hoping that you're overwhelmed. They're hoping that you take the bait and this is an easy catch for them. I would estimate that any offer you receive initially when you inherit minerals is probably 25 to 50% of what they're actually worth, if that. And that's assuming that they have all the right data. They might not even know what you own. And so don't assume they know what you own, and do the research to know what you own. Number 2, in the same light as not to sell them right away, also don't lease them right away. So you can lease minerals and you can sell minerals, and they're 2 different things. One is like renting out your apartment or your extra room on your house. The other one is selling the room on your house or selling your apartment. Selling it means you will never get any more money, but leasing it means that you aren't planning on developing it yourself. So if you aren't planning on spending millions of dollars to drill a well on your property, then this leasing is probably a good idea. But again, know what you own, research it, get to know what the different terminology is that's used in a lease. That lease is very important because it can last for decades after you sign it. Unlike a apartment rental, which you can renew every year and change the terms and whatnot, a lease on a mineral asset is usually set in stone as soon as a well is drilled. Once those terms are set for that first well, those are usually the terms that will apply to every other well that is drilled and for the life of that well. Sometimes these wells can last decades, up to 50, 60, 70, 80 years. This might be the last time you ever sign a lease. Make sure you know what you're doing. Those terms can make a big difference in the value. For example, the royalty rate is how much % of the income you get from any oil or gas sold. If you sign a lease at 12.5% or an eighth, then suddenly your minerals are worth half of what they would have been worth if you signed at 25%. Just by that one simple thing there, and that is a big jump, but I would say start at a quarter and work down rather than starting at an eighth and working up. A quarter is pretty normal for most of the US at this point. So between 20% and 25%, that's more normal than the lower percentages. So just keep that in mind. That can dramatically impact the amount of royalties you'll get in the future and what you can sell it for if you decide to sell it. Number 3, most of the time, there is no need to register your minerals on any list or registration. People will find you if they want to lease your minerals, if they want to buy your minerals, if it's properly filed with the county. So the county is the one that you really need to make sure knows where you are, how to contact you, make sure they have your address on file if you move. Like there's forms you can file saying, here's my new address. Make sure that any deeds are filed. Make sure that your name, it's transferred into your name in the county records. The county records are really what matters the most. There's not really a list of where landmen go to find the owners of the wells. That doesn't really exist. I mean, they do exist. Don't spend money on it. Just make sure it's filed properly with the county. If you can't find some of those documents and papers and forms, that's when you'd want to get legal assistance. You might need to go through probate or something in order to get those documents filed. Sometimes you can reach out to the operator if you have wells that you should be getting paid on, but you don't have all the documents filed. They can tell you which documents you need to get filed in order to have everything lined up. But if your property isn't leased and you're hoping that someone will come and find you in order to lease your property, just make sure it's filed properly in the county. Number 4, Don't keep it a secret from your successors what your plan is for these minerals. Help explain what you own. Help know the history of it. Show them where the files are stored. Let them know the passwords for your logins for your company websites. Don't keep it a secret from the people who will inherit it in the future. Get them involved. Get them going to the conferences with you. Get them sitting in on webinars. Have them read through old documents. Start showing them how to read a revenue statement. The amount of times that I get contacted by someone who inherited minerals and their parents or grandparents or aunt, uncle, whoever they inherited it from, never got around to handing it off to them, it's unfortunate because you have more information than you think. And even if you don't think you know all the information, you definitely know more than someone who knows nothing. So hand off what you can and research what you can and include them in the process. The one thing that we all know is that at some point, these minerals will not be ours anymore and it will be somebody else's, whether we like it or not. Don't keep that a secret. Don't put your blinders on. Have a plan. Let them know of the plan. Contact an estate planner if you need to help figure out what the best plan is, but don't keep it a secret. Number 5, don't assume that just because you're being paid means you're being paid correctly. And this is not an advertisement. I don't usually do audits or anything. This is just me saying that just because you're getting paid on one well doesn't mean that that company didn't miss another well in the section that you might be owed money on. The easiest way to do this research is to look at your legal description of what you own and then go to the state website that shows which wells are in that legal description and see if there's any wells around there that you aren't getting paid on that are showing as producing. And then just do a little research. Figure out, okay, well, is my acreage not in that well's area? Like there's units that are formed for each well. Just go and do a little research. Know which wells are around you. Check to see if anything's been permitted or drilled or completed, because I've definitely seen it happen where people were getting paid on one well and then another well was drilled and it was just handed off operator to operator and things got lost in translation and they just never got that payment that they were owed. Don't assume that these operators will find you if they owe you money. So a lot of times we assume that, hey, if I'm not being paid, if people aren't hunting me down, I'm probably not owed any money. And that's one of the questions I get is people saying, hey, someone hunted me down. Why wouldn't they have already found me? And sometimes it makes sense for them to hunt you down and find your address. There's a lot of information online to find people these days, so keep it in mind. You are not anonymous for the most part anymore. But there are ways to see if you're owed money. You can reach out to the companies operating the wells in that section that you think you're owed money and say, hey, I am the owner of these minerals. I think I might be owed money on these wells. Can you check? Provide them all the documents that you have saying why you think that that's true, but then also provide them the list of the wells, the APIs. Make it really easy for them to look it up because they're going through a lot of these requests. And so make it really easy for them to check for you in their system if they have you or your grandpa or someone in their system and just marked as suspended funds. That's the name for if they're not paying you and they're supposed to be paying somebody. They're very careful who they hand out the money to. When these operators sell the oil and then it's time to distribute the funds to the proper owners, there can sometimes be hundreds of people in one section that they owe money to because of all the different, grandpa had it and then he had 10 kids and then they each had 10 kids. It multiplies very quickly over the years who's owed money. You can request a portion of what's called the title opinion, which is a big, long document that they had their lawyers put together for each well saying, here are all the different owners. This owner owns this much because of X, Y, and Z. This owner owns this much because of X, Y, and Z. It's a very expensive report. They probably won't give you the entire thing, but they might give you your little piece of it, which might give you some clues as to where your ownership came from, what percent you have. Usually that title opinion will have some statement as saying, hey, this owner needs to do X, Y, and Z in order for us to be comfortable to pay them. They can provide that information to you. So just reach out to the operator owner relations department or a land department or a royalties department, whatever they call it, and ask. Sometimes it's as simple as an address update. Like they just don't know your latest address and they will suspend your payment. They do have to pay interest on the amount that they owe you. Some states require them to pay interest to you So it's in their best interest to find as many people as possible. But if they owe you $100, that interest on $100 is not usually worth the time to pay someone to track you down and whatnot. Don't expect them to hunt you down. Don't expect them to always have it right. They do their best. These are great people working for the companies for the most part. And another reason that's important is because a lot of times what you're being offered in number 1, where we talked about don't sell right away, usually that's based on what people think you're being paid. Some states like Texas have a tax roll similar to your home appraisal as to who is paying what on producing properties. So they know what you're getting based on that tax appraisal, but that's assuming that all of that is filed with the county correctly also. Again, don't assume you're being paid correctly. It affects how much you're being offered, how much you should sell for, how much royalties you're receiving, all the things. If you have any questions on this, please give me a shout below. If you like this video, like this video. If you're subscribed, you're awesome. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe because that really helps the channel. Thanks.